Yep. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, November 8th election. I hope we voted. Voorheesville Board of Education Facilities Committee meeting. Speaking of elections, December 6th is our vote for the capital project, so remember to vote for that too. First up on the agenda is a facilities update.
So I want to give two facilities updates, and we'll have Bill do a facilities update after that. The vestibule. So the middle school vestibule, we submitted, it was months at state ed. So they finally reviewed it at the upper level and then sent back 3 more questions that they went for a budget, which we then said we gave them an updated budget for that. They had a question regarding our capital project originally, because we're using capital project money. So they want to see where that was noted or denoted that we would do safety upgrades. And they had another question for the architect. So they're going a little bit deeper than even the architects thought they would on this one. They sent them back a response. We're waiting on a response to come back, but right now we don't have one. So it didn't get as clear cut as we thought it was going to be. So still have no idea if that's going to be approved or what it's going to be approved. There was a fire rating on the window that they were concerned with. So it's just really, really nitpicky on this one in comparison to what we thought was going to happen.
Were the architects surprised?
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they thought it was just going to be already approved when it got to that, because it went to all the other ones. So they were a little surprised. So they sent back a response and we're waiting. So we'll see what happens. But we still don't know on this one yet. We'll see.
Waiting in suspense.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was surprised. The $100,000 project. So we're looking at finally getting that up and running, hopefully soon. The architect's got to get that out to the state because we have to have it done by June in order to get the aid for it. So we're running behind. They're looking at $30,000 for the gym pool area, roof access, $30,000 going to the existing catwalk in the pack, and to the new cut in the roof directly above that, and about $12,000 for replacing one failed ladder outside of the building. That's about $80,000. And then the rest of that's going to be changed out with key locks or door issues that we have. In the 5-year facilities plan, those things are in it. So you're actually, meeting the needs of what the 5-year is. But since we're now in November, we're a little late on the ball on this one. So we just got to make sure that we get it in and hopefully get it through facilities approval. We don't think, right, Bill, that nothing's going to be held up in back orders on this stuff?
No, the only thing that may be an issue, if we start going doors, forget doors.
The keys will be good.
The time frame, locks, that'll be perfect.
Yeah. So hopefully that will be done and we won't have any issues and get it all done by June. That was finalized. Bill, what updates you got?
So obviously we went over the track last meeting. The track is 100% complete at this point in time.
Looks nice.
Everything's all good on it. We have our maintenance warranty. The warranty is good for a year. Maintenance procedures, don't drive on it. So I mean, I know in the past it's been driven on, it's been snow blowed, it's been brushed. You're not to use a brush, you're not to use a snow blower. So that's been communicated out to everybody. Joe's team has copies of that as well, and that will get us through for another 5 years before we look into replacing it.
And 5 years is when that track originally was scheduled to be replaced,
right?
For their original DCS.
Much bigger ticket items that we did now. They actually went very in depth in some of what they did to it, so this should make it 5 years without any. There's a couple minor things we want to look at. The drainage, there's a couple of the gutter plates that are missing.
Yeah.
So some little stuff that
we can do on our own.
We can do on our own as long as we can find them somewhere, so we'll make something work. The tennis courts are the opposite. The tennis courts, so at this point, blacktop's been done. The fencing's back up. We're going to secure it until spring. Okay. The nighttime temperatures, and one of the bigger things was we were even looking at it a couple of weeks ago in 70, was the fact that the leaves keep landing all over the surface. So there's really no way to prevent that this time of the year. That would have been into your painted surface. We did add to that pickleball. We discussed it. It was like $27.50 to add additional pickleball lines. Did a little research, myself and Joe, and came back with they're going to be a dark blue. So the outer perimeter on the tennis court originally is going to stay the same green. The playing surface will be blue. All the tennis lines have to be white for tennis regulations, but the other lines for pickleball will be a darker blue. People have mentioned yellow. The Southern Conference of Pickleball Tennis will not even let you do that. You would actually forfeit a game because it's too similar to white. So the dark blue works. Everybody's happy. Minor change. One of the other things we're looking at with that and with the track actually is during the resurfacing of the track, the company pointed out that the pole vault box needs to be replaced. It's not a huge expense. It's under $1,000. It's fiberglass and it's original. So it's obviously a wear item. So the replacements, you're looking at around $1,000. Stainless steel might be a little bit more. That's probably the way we should go, right? Because it'll be more durable and last a lot longer. But if we're going to fully redo the track in 5 years,
Yeah.
right, is, you know, but you're talking, you know, $500 more, 1,500. So either way, that's something to look at come spring. One of the things we're looking to do pretty soon is the tools came in to actually do expansion cuts on the footbridge down at the elementary school. So footbridge has been an issue forever and ever. Right?
Which one? The
McGuire Bridge.
Bridge. Yeah, the one where the paint always comes off.
Yeah. The paint that isn't even engineered for that, right? That was a fix that was tried prior to me, so we're back.
I know that came with that original paint.
Well, it did, and then
done by Danny Coombs.
Yeah.
it did. We there was like some kind of a hack
Right.
with the repainting,
Right.
which was super creative and saved us a bunch of money. But yeah,
One of our local engineers got back to me at the beginning of October, middle of October, and looked at the rest of the situation and said, yes, you can cut into this. Here's how to do it. Purchase an oscillating tool and some special blades and stuff, and we're going to do that. It's a constant challenge keeping water off it and ice in the winter. So this ought to mitigate that and make it safer for everybody to use.
so will that make so that when we resurface it with like the grippy paint, it'll stay on?
No.
Okay.
No grippy paint. If we do grippy paint, we're gonna have to cut in between again because you need an expansion joint and you need a spot for the water to go through.
Yeah.
If you put on deck redo, you know, I'm not using big trade names, you know, but if you do something like that, you're filling in that gap, right? Because that's super thick. If we have to go through and put on like, and again, we have to be very careful because we're over a truck strip, right? So painting it is, you know, an issue, right? So if we do anything, obviously it's a big project, putting tarps underneath it, collecting everything, and trying to find something that's like a sand-based paint, you know, or not sand-based, but
Yeah.
Last year I bought a walk behind sander. So my custodians have that and had basics in it, right? So that's what I was telling them to do last year. You know, do like they do in the North Country. They don't salt everything. They mix sand and salt together because it works better. Sand it, you'll have the traction, but this way, when it does melt, it's got some place to go instead of sitting on the surface. And what Luke said is it'll also keep the deck boards lasting longer because they won't cut as much. So
Yeah, and I guess do we need like? Sounds like the history of that paint. Maybe we didn't need the grippy paint, or
no, I mean
we
you
do.
would, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have smooth wood, eventually it's going to get, you know, slippery. But we're not going to remove the paint. We're just simply going to put the cuts in it now to allow the boards to expand and contract like they're supposed to, and the water to go somewhere.
There is no expansion at all.
They're up against each other, and they're literally cupping.
Yeah.
They're cupping because of it. You know, if you're on a deck project, it's the same thing. I don't know why it was engineered that way originally, but
Easier to paint.
right. As far as athletics go, I mean, everything's pretty much wrapped up as far as all the fields go. Across the street, we've aerated again on the upper and lower soccer fields. They've been fertilized and grass seeded again, overseeded. Over here, we've actually aerated again. Same thing with the football field. So we'll probably get one more time where we'll put some fertilizer on it and let it go to sleep for a winter, right? Because it's too cold and grassy down at this point. It won't germinate. Water's been shut off at everything. All the lines have been blown out. Water heater removed across the street. So everything's good for the winter. The concession stands, snack shacks, they're all ready to go. The next big thing that's happening is projects that we talked about was also the window film project. So that's been back and forth. There's been issues with contracts on it and how the pricing was set up because it's a piggyback off of another district. So that's all been taken care of. Anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks, they'll start that project. So that'll put the security film on all the doors and anything in the vestibule that's nearby. And it's also solar on the 3rd floor, non-air conditioned rooms down the elementary. So that should make a difference there. What else do we have?
You still on? We're good.
Met with the roofing vendor today. We've been on both building roofs, looking at a number of things. One of the things we're gonna do is we probably have some repairs to make at the elementary school. If you've been in the staircase at the ADA entrance, the ceiling has been, just horrible for a while. So it's gonna be a several $1,000 repair, but it has to happen sooner than later. So
We have,
okay. That's the lower or the upper?
That's the, right on the vestibule where the window is.
Yeah,
When you're
no,
talking-
that's a repair that I paid for once already. There's an additional to that. This
Which
is
one?
all the way up next to, we're up on top of where the elevator.
Oh, yeah, that's right there. That one.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
that one?
This one.
Oh, this one. Oh,
Yeah.
the,
And we also addressed a couple other things, so, yeah, there's.
Again, these are all part of the BCS as well.
But these are some of the ones that are now prevalent that they have to
really get to
have to be taken care of. That's it. I mean, there's a couple little projects working on, trying to get, we noticed with one or two of our teachers, requested window shades. We found out that they weren't part of our capital project the last one. So some of the classroom doors do not have window shades.
Oh.
So sample was supposed to be here last week. I'm waiting for a sample from now 2 vendors, and we'll take care of that. It's a lockdown issue as well. So
The new NISBA policy states that and recommends if you're able to pull them down. So we're kind of going to update that policy too, by the way, that's in there for the safety. It's in 8130, which I finished today.
that's pretty much it.
Anything else for Bill? Because nothing else really on the agenda goes into that. There's no reason to stay for the web update or any of that stuff.
I have a question actually. Over at the satellite fields, the gazebo looks like it could use some repairs.
Okay.
I don't know. I know some students didn't help it out.
That happens.
That does happen. But just some of the railings are missing, and I know it did get picked up, but I know the one day I was there, the railings that were not connected anymore were just kind of laying in the grass, nails.
We picked up, actually, it's funny you say that because when we cleaned everything up earlier last week or this week, there's a bunch of basically the spindles that belong in the railings. There's a pile of them in my garage that are drying right now. We have them over there drying, so they'll shrink back down in size. I need to put them back in. They're actually installed when you buy a piece of railing made like that. They're just U-shaped staples that they shoot into the factory when they build them.
Yeah, you can see the
So
staples.
Bob, Sean, Paul are all looking at another way to secure them. Probably glue them and something else, so they're not as easy when they're sitting on the. We've seen what's happened, right? And I don't know if it's our kids or away team kids. They're sitting on the railing and they're kicking their feet, and it's just a U-shaped staple and they pop out. Well, then it's fun.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
we have a solution to that, but that's what we're
Okay.
looking at. They're actually on the garage floor right now.
Okay.
Is there anything else with it that you were?
No. I just know the one day they were kind of all out,
Yeah.
and then it was only like a couple days later.
We
They
literally
were
had-
gone. Yeah, I could
we had
tell
five-
that somebody must have like scooped them all up.
Okay.
So I didn't know what the plan was.
Yeah, that's the
for
point.
those.
I mean, because
Okay.
if we don't purchase new, the same thing,
Yeah.
it's going to be the same issue,
It's-
right? We have to find a way to fortify it, and make it a
Yeah.
little bit stronger so it doesn't happen again. So glue, and we're even talking about pre-drilling a hole and running the screw all the way through, something else to make it so it's not as vulnerable.
Improve.
What do? You know,
Mhm. Whatever.
it's a school.
I'm good.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
You have anything
Thank you.
else on this idea?
No, that's it.
I get to go home.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need the website report or bus patrol. So no, I think you're good.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill.
That company name, but like, I could tell Tim was confused last night. It sounds like something you do as opposed to a company
I
like
know.
Yeah,
bus patrol.
I
Like,
know.
I'm imagining people in orange vests, like out there with stop signs or
Bus
some-
monitor?
like bus patrol, like bus
Level up.
monitors.
I know.
Like, what are like?
It is very
Yeah,
confusing.
in the lines, they're like, huh? Oh, yeah. Okay.
So website report, we are tracking as of today.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's your answer. So Shauna could not find and reset.
She wasn't able to get
No,
access
neither was-
with the.
No, so we're just we're doing it as of today, or no, reset and tracking. Let's talk about bus patrol, bus monitoring systems real quick. I sent out an update this morning just to see how many school districts were currently using bus patrol in the area or who's going to it, and that's just Capital District. I didn't go anywhere else. Right now, Bethlehem has just approved it. Gilderland is going into it. Give 2
What do you mean
seconds.
going into it? Like they're just starting like we are looking at it? You mean? Or-
They are almost finalized.
Oh, okay.
They're in the process of getting the cameras as well. So they're looking at going into doing that program. More Manans has initially gone into it, so they're contacted them, so they're just in the discussion phases right now. South Colony, sorry, is got back to me and they're doing it now. They've been actively ticketing drivers
On their own or through bus patrol?
through bus patrol.
So they're up and running.
They're up and running. He says they're up and running. Cameras were installed in September. The system was active in October for a 30-day grace period, and now they're actively ticketing. They say that they have the ability to, it doesn't allow districts to gain revenue from the fines, as we know. The revenue is split between Albany County, and they did say that they would allow them to do the cameras, but they didn't tell them exactly how. If they needed something, Bus Patrol said they would give it to you, but didn't give them specifics, so they weren't really sure.
If you needed footage.
Yeah,
is that what you
but
mean?
there was no specifics or anything written on that. So that was, the way I look at it is if it's not in writing, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
No.
So, the one school district in the Capital District is not using them because they already started something else. And this was Ravina. They're using 24/7. That's their camera program. It costs them $14,000 for it, and they still got to buy the buses. They have 9 of their buses out of the fleet. Part of this coincides with their SRO. So the SRO then gets the information. The SRO then goes and plays a house visit to them. So that's kind of a little bit different. So 24/7 does all the information, but the dispatcher then sends the video to our resource officers. They visit the home after school. So it really is depending on the school resource officers.
Visit the home?
Yeah.
And ticket them?
Yep.
That's a lot on the school resource
Yeah.
officer, particularly in a district
Yeah.
like that where it's
So but
large
that's how
and
it's,
spread
but
out.
that's how that one works. I can find out more. But I asked, I said, is that dependent on having a resource officer in the home? So they said, yes. It was a little, I think that one's a little bit different just based off of the makeup of what they
And
have
then just
going
someone
on.
knocking on my door to give me a ticket.
Yeah. So
That's
I
kind
think they have the conversation as well. So there's a little bit more on that one. I guess it's a definitely deterrent, I can imagine. So I'm going to continue to look in, but I just wanted to give a quick update from last night. That's currently who I know.
of- Would you be able to ask Colony, like, if they've had any
The only-
issues?
No,
They're the only one that's.
yeah, I'm going to
running.
reach. Yeah, so I'm going to reach out to Dave and have a private conversation.
Yeah.
That was just today. I'm sorry, just give me
Yeah,
one
since the
second.
meeting was just last night. I know.
Kristen, is it an emergency? Okay, I'll check in on that after. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. It just,
If we wanted to buy our own cameras, is there grant money for stuff like that? Smart school money, tech money?
our smart school money is gone.
Yeah, that type of money.
I'd have to look in to see if there's grants. Again, we don't really
Seems like
qualify
tech
for a
people pay
ton.
for tech, not for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This 24/7. So Niskayuna, Scotia Glenville, they have it. Burnt Hills.
Yeah, so
So there are a bunch of folks.
They
using
haven't gotten back to me yet. So
the
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there are
Okay.
programs.
Yeah.
24/7 a public company? I
Uh,
mean, For profit?
Oh, I'm sure they all are.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think it's out of the goodness of their hearts.
Yeah.
I don't
no.
think.
well, it could be a nonprofit.
True, but I'm guessing something like
No.
that.
Yeah.
So-
Low odds.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
find out more about that. And so
Yeah.
usually everybody responds back within like 48 hours.
Of course.
Yeah. It.
Because I'd like to understand how some like Niski or how other school districts are implementing it and using it.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
like to know more.
Niski's not
Curious
Schenectady
about that.
County. Burnt Hills and Schenectady County. Burnt Hills is Saratoga/Schenectady County. So
But I think we have some time to
Oh,
take
yeah.
the time to. It's not like this is
Yeah.
a mad rush and
All
we
the
need
time
these
that you
installed on December.
you have all the time
31st.
you want.
Yeah, it'd be good to understand some of the competing solutions and how the cost structures
Yeah.
break down and
And the
Yeah.
fine details that
things.
seem
things
kind
like
of
that, yeah.
ambiguous
Like
And
a
we
right
could-
private
now.
contract.
And if you really wanted to,
Yeah.
you could have both companies come in to a
True.
board meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
And both companies could present, right? Bus Patrol could present
Yeah.
and discuss it. 24/7 could present.
It sounds like
From there.
for the 24/7 folks, so
So I can be really clear.
No, I know.
It was
You
an
don't
email and I have no idea.
no, you mentioned something, which was, about them having to buy more buses. So they don't, it doesn't include the cameras. It just
No,
includes the
no.
solution for the, right.
What he mentioned to me was
Uh,
they currently have
They own
9
their cameras.
cameras
Mhm.
on 9 buses outfitted out of their 47. So I think that's, part of that. There's
And
a
at
larger-
our current rate, without additional investment, how long would it take to complete our fleet with
So we
How many do we do
we're
a year?
buying
2?
So we buy 3 to 4 buses a
3
year.
to 4 a year? We have
We have
30?
32.
I
Jim
was
said.
close.
32.
I know, I was trying to remember.
And Jim said we have
We have
5 of
4, 8,
those.
5.
Yeah, we're done
It's
with
like another 8, it would be like 8 years-ish
Yeah.
to
to
complete it if we didn't.
Right.
And it would be like maybe $40,000 to
Unless
buy
you-
them.
Yeah,
all at
unless you
once.
retrofit the buses, right? Unless you go back and retrofit.
Is there aid on that stuff, even if there's no grants?
Don't know that answer. Jim would know that answer. Don't really. I don't know, to be honest with you. Don't guess no, but I'll find out.
There's just this old school part of my brain that likes owning the thing instead
There's a
of,
lot that
you
doesn't
know,
smell right about bus.
I mean, it's nice getting all these free cameras, but
Nothing's for grab.
like it, I'm sure it's fine. But,
I'm sure it's fine. Yeah,
This is why we have conversations.
No, I know,
Bring
but
me
like,
up, we talk about it.
yeah.
yeah, make sure we understand all the, as well as the competing solutions.
I haven't said to you, hey, board, I recommend this, right? I didn't put it on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Yep.
And there's a reason, like, I think we should really give it some time and conversation into these and see what we want to do with them. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, we must do now.
Sometimes there's safety money out there too.
There's schedule and money, but I don't know if that goes to those. Jim can know any of those things
Mhm.
and look into them. Again, like there's safety money for doors and there's safety money
Yeah,
for
yeah.
cameras in the building. But when it comes to stop arm cameras, maybe not. But that would be Jim would look into that. He has not mentioned that there's money that goes into it.
Yeah.
And he would have, if there was by this point,
Yeah.
he's very good
Yes,
at
he is.
understanding revenue streams.
Yes.
Because he's told me ones that I've never even heard of before. So I'm going to guess he would know, but you can always check.
So now, did we say bus patrol? Is it that company or is it like some other third party that looks at the footage again? And
They
then-
do it.
They
Bus
do.
Patrol controls all
Okay.
of that. They have somebody
Okay.
that
Just
would
checking.
be watching it and then send it out to all the cameras. So they do all of that work.
And I'm assuming that's probably not someone like local, like they don't have an office
They have
here in Albany
AI
or
and then
something
they
like
have
that.
somebody who
Okay.
oversees that.
Yeah,
They're-
they're flagging an event on the
Yeah,
street,
they
and
have-
then somebody's going and
They're
looking
in a whole
at
bunch of
it in
different
a call
counties,
center
100
somewhere.
different schools in New York State. So,
Yeah.
there's definitely more to that.
They
doing
were
it.
headquartered in
Yeah, they're doing a
Virginia,
wide
North
net.
Carolina, or I can't- but not-
It's an AI solution is what it
Yeah.
is. It's a computer program that they're utilizing to monetize.
Yeah, where are, this is interesting. So 24/7 is headquartered in Norwich, New York, of all places,
Oh, nice.
which is a gorgeous town.
I was
by
gonna
the way.
say.
Mhm.
I have heard, so the one person responded back says they've been rock stars. Like that was the exact language. Like they've come out, they fixed the equipment, they've done everything. They've
Interesting.
been very good to work with.
They're out, New York. Yeah. Anyway,
So-
learning more.
Yeah.
Be good.
All right.
Thank you. That was quick feedback.
Listen, you guys ask, I deliver.
Yeah.
So the wonderful thing that's in front of you all, that beautiful
Oh,
thing,
so pretty.
that is our 5-year BCS.
Mhm.
So building condition survey that's done each year guides a lot of all the projects that we're doing. So like, the $100,000 projects that we do in each building, what we add, what we don't add. I mean, even in the elementary school, the alternate for switching out the bathrooms and cabinetry, that actually is part of the BCS. So they're all in there. So you guys want to talk a conversation about future projects and kind of things like that. Figured having the BCS on the table isn't a bad idea because some of the things may already be a part of that, and go through it in that regard. So how would you like to kind of start? I created a document that says future planning, the shared document. I didn't add anything yet. I figured we could at least do a running kind of brainstorming of how you want to address it.
Do we have like a classroom inventory, like what classrooms are really old, haven't been touched in 50 years?
So we can look at classrooms, and there's some specifics that we can go into that.
Like in general,
Yep.
do you think that there's classrooms that really need something or?
So let's talk about, like, actually, let's do scope first of the work before, because I don't want to get confused quick.
Like, it's hard for me to
Yeah.
know, I'm not in all these
Right,
classrooms,
but we talking middle school, high school,
right?
right? So I think that's on the scope of it, like, this would be middle school, high
Because
school.
you feel the public thinks we need to alternate every time, or because?
No, because we have to.
Oh, you have
Because
to.
the aid money that gets depleted from each
Yeah.
building.
Yeah,
whatever,
so
and,
our building
you know,
aid ratio, so
yeah, last time we tapped out this one, this
Yeah.
time
we are
tapped
gonna-
out that one.
the
Yeah.
elementary school would be tapped.
Yeah.
Like, there is no aid,
And we got a chunk
coming
up
back,
here, we get to go.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
since
knew
we're
we
doing,
alternated, but I didn't know.
yeah, so that's why. So since we've done one already here, in the next 5 years, our aid ratio will be up. I mean, it could be up to like 13 million. I'm not saying we do a $13 million project, because who knows how much capital reserves.
Right.
But that's going to be a question that we have to start talking about too, is how much money for capital reserves do you actually want to start putting in each year, right? Because you could say as a board, we want to at least start budgeting $250,000 a year, which in grand scheme isn't a lot. Or you could say, we want to try to budget at least 500,000 into capital reserves each year. So then in 5 years, you have 2.5 million or 3 million, because that will be a major part of that conversation, is how much capital reserves do we want to be able to build up in order to kind of build out that project. So first thing is middle school. These are great because you didn't know that. So about the reason why I had to go middle school.
Right, I do recall it.
Yeah.
but-
No, it's good to retalk, and
Um,
that is because of state aid budget. So
In terms of weird round numbers,
Mhm.
we'll be at that point, like, it's pretty much exactly 25 years from building,
Mhm.
right, the whole middle school,
Yeah.
that whole project, right? The
Yeah.
new pool, the middle school, high
but
school.
the new aid coming on helps offset that building, because
Oh, no, that's not
We're
what
just
I'm,
talking
no,
about-
I'm just saying,
Oh.
like, nice round numbers, hey, it's been 25 years. Is there stuff that we generally want to update after
Right.
25 years, where it's like, hey, that's 25 years old now, so
Yeah.
time for a new one?
That's what I was kind of
You know,
getting
just
at.
my logical, just,
Yeah.
That's easy to say, but over here
Yeah,
in high
right.
school, I'm sure there's stuff that's even older.
so
like in your house, start swapping out some appliances and some, you know, my
Yeah.
kitchen needs an update after 25 years.
Bathrooms,
Yeah,
So there's a
it's like-
lot. So
Yeah, there's always-
let's talk about, so the BCS has something. So the BCS has HVAC systems.
Mhm.
Not all the HVAC systems were replaced when we did the other project. So I would suggest that we follow that in the HVAC, and at least
Mhm.
make sure we're replacing any of the HVACs that need to be done. So room, the room updates.
just curious, yeah,
No,
I'm
it's-
curious, like, do we have some room that's not been touched in 50 years?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
do they need to be?
Well, let's talk about room updates for a minute, right? So you could look at, a generic one of just saying, we want to take out all the floors, all new floors in, because all the asbestos or anything like that, or
Mm.
only tackle asbestos rooms and paint all the rooms one solid color. You could do a renovation that way. You could say, well, we want all new lockers because our lockers are outdated and they don't fit the rooms of the kids. Those are little things. You look at need, are there need things that we can do?
Right, I
Yeah.
prefer need
Yep.
rather than not need.
Yeah.
So the rooms, they're functional, they all
Yeah.
work. So, there are definitely asbestos. I would say if we were going to look at doing a capital project, I would definitely want to tackle some of the asbestos on the
Mhm.
floors, just so they are not somebody's problem 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road.
I think we talked about something with the pack for
Yeah,
being able to reach
Yeah.
those lights, catwalk to nowhere.
that's getting fixed. That's part of the $100,000.
Okay,
Yep, taking care of that. But let's talk about the pack.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So those light systems in there, they're old.
mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
And that's a huge project. That's, 350,000. So pack updates, right? We can look at that. I think this is a brainstorming session. So that's why if you see I wrote room updates, what needs to be done, anything outdated, I'm going to write asbestos next to that too, because I'm kind of big on just getting rid of asbestos because I have the chance to get rid of it. it becomes a real issue when you're doing other things.
I have not been in any of the bathrooms, so I really don't remember the locker
They're
rooms.
horrible.
They're horrible. right?
They're horrible. They,
The bathrooms look the same as when I went here.
well, I gotta be
So,
clear.
I'm not necessarily worried about looks if they're fine.
No, there's a staff bathroom that really literally comes, I can show it to you when we're done. It looks like something out of like Psycho. It's really bad.
I mean, that's not
Yeah.
a fun work.
No, it's, no, some of these bathrooms definitely need,
And if you're in a horror movie,
Yeah.
it's gonna be-
no, I agree. Bathroom updates would be great.
Or something to look at.
Yeah, some of them definitely are a little bit more outdated than others.
Mhm.
So I would look at functionality in bathrooms and definitely the staff bathrooms for sure.
Yeah.
And some of these don't have ventilation. So let's talk about that. This hallway doesn't have ventilation and there's 2 bathrooms right next to it. So it does, it is a little,
I don't think
it is a different issue. So PAC, bathroom updates, ventilation. I mean, we said it already, the track. We can get to that later if we're gonna go outside. Do you want to see inside for now?
Yeah.
Why don't we,
Yeah.
why don't we do inside and, why don't we do inside and outside?
Stick with the theme.
Yeah, and then we'll do outside afterwards.
Yeah, I'm also not familiar with like our gyms and our, like, I've been in the gym before when like the heat was on and it was, but that was years ago.
You know, we
Just
don't,
like, why are we overheating?
but you know, we don't have in our gyms?
No.
Air conditioning.
Yes, it does get really hot.
It
and they're
does get
doing
very hot.
basketball.
There is no air conditioning in the gym, so if that's something that, you know,
They just put one in at my school a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and that does make for a nice space when you have a large group of students that like need to take a Regents
Yeah.
exam.
Oh,
It's very, yeah,
June.
yeah, it does really come in handy.
AC in gyms, I'm just gonna ask the question, AC in the school?
The elementary school, obviously. Will we
Yeah.
go back down there, Tony?
No.
To be words. But
Is there
I think
AC?
as climate changes, you're gonna be really.
Is there
suffering
AC in any of these
schools.
rooms in this campus? Anywhere?
Some rooms,
Yeah.
some rooms have AC because we put them in because like we need them in the copy rooms. This office has AC, you know, the offices have AC when people are here like 12 months, you know, we put AC in rooms
Yeah.
because the summer gets really, really hot.
I like
So the 12-month administrators at work, I can tell you, like, if not in the summer, these offices get to be 100 degrees. So you just couldn't work in them. So our offices have them because we're here 12 months.
The PAC's air conditioned, right?
PAC is air conditioning. So just, you know, just
Is the
because
LGI?
it's part of it. I don't think so. Maybe. I can check.
I mean, I think you always put it on the list.
Yeah, let's put it on. That's on.
I do think all schools are gonna sometime have to go there.
There's no doubt in my mind if we're going to call inside or outside, but roofs, I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be roofing issues. I mean, we already have roofing issues, and I think some of our roofs are already going to be, I would imagine, are probably going to be hitting warranty. So we'll put roofs on, and they can be extremely expensive.
Yeah.
That's nothing fancy.
Do they have like unit ventilators that have AC built in, sort of like a mini split? Or
No,
They don't.
when they put the new univents in, they weren't AC.
no, I know they aren't. I mean, I'm asking if such a thing exists, like a whole.
Oh, I imagine
Yeah,
they do,
where
but we
like
just did a whole new.
Yeah.
Before I got here, the district agreed on univents, so it would
Yes.
be a hard one to.
Yeah.
It'd be a hard sell to do that one. I didn't even think about that, but we just did the whole new univents and put AC in the high school.
Yeah.
Middle school, we don't know how far that's going and how long that system would be working, so I would check the warranty on that. I'm gonna put like lifespan for the middle school unit, because I don't know, actually. That's a whole air handler down there. I don't know how much longer that has, or if it doesn't, or if it's gonna go 20 years. But that's a big ticket.
And do you know if there's any compelling need in like the art room, the kilns?
I would say,
That whole stretch of rooms that goes between the high school and the middle school looks old, but I have no idea what
So-
they're just using.
I mean, it's probably 25 because I know the old auditorium used to be where those art rooms are.
Okay,
So they ripped out that
Okay, so
auditorium and put in the
like
so
those
25
bathrooms
years.
through there.
hmm, So I think one of the things we also want to look at will be enrollment.
Yeah.
And spacing, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'll tell you, the middle school is a hallway, and that's all it is. So if you're looking at 100 kids,
5 sections.
5 sections, like, what does that mean? Like, really, like,
Yeah.
as you said, art room, I go, well, if we're looking at enrollment, what does that mean? I mean, what do we need to add? Tuning rooms, or, like, you know, is there, will we do a larger build? We do, you know, add a small addition? I have no idea. I'm just,
Are all the high school rooms used?
no,
Okay.
and I say this lovingly and very nicely, and just because I went through this in the district that I worked in. A lot of times, teachers are very used to having their own room. So on the
Okay.
periods that they're not working, those rooms are there. But if you provide a space and a workspace for those teachers, those rooms then become occupiable. And, you know, schedules, when you have high needs and when you're looking at those impacts, you just start using those rooms.
Mhm.
And you know, sometimes a room might be packed up, you know, 7 periods out of the day, and right now it might only be 4. So that is doable when you look at high school.
Okay.
Middle school, it gets harder because, you know,
Yeah.
they're still on that, they're not alternating as
Mhm.
much. So if you don't have the rooms, that's hard. But high school, you can really play with the schedule and room usages.
Okay.
It doesn't make people happy. Right? You know,
No.
I don't know if you've ever worked in that environment, but I did. And I mean, Lansingburg, we grew in enrollment numbers. Building didn't change. You know, we had ad rooms that we still were maxing out. And so we
Right.
maximize our rooms.
I shared a room before. I've had my own room before.
Yeah. People don't like to share rooms, but we don't do a lot of sharing here.
Yeah, it's obviously easier.
That is a possibility. I'm a little bit nervous about middle school, just
Yeah.
anecdotally looking at it,
Mm.
saying if we want to keep all the kids separate, how would we then maybe reorganize the building?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about the wing
Yeah, that
in
makes sense.
between. I don't know.
Of course, we would look at the BCS. I'm just going to write. We probably would have to do another one.
Like right now, you have 5 sections of 6th grade, 5 of 7th, and 4 of.
Yeah, 4 of 1. I'd have to look. Don't quote me on how many sections we have for middle school off the top of my head.
I know 6th grade has like
6th grade's a
120
big
Yeah.
or
group.
something.
I think 7th grade is still 4, though. I think
It
6th
is.
grade,
I think
Don't quote
6th
me.
grade is the bump.
yeah, I think 6th grade is 5. I think I'm going to say that 7th grade is 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, once you
Eight-
start the accelerated
yeah, that
class, it
changes
kind
everything.
of helps alleviate because they're going over to the high school.
We would
Yeah.
probably have to do another BCS. Because of all the work that we're getting done and the capital project, you know, and the $100,000 projects that we do, I would imagine we'd have to do another one before we look at finalizing a capital project to see if there's outstanding items.
Mhm.
Because that's right at the end of that 5-year one. District office, everybody's happy where it is?
Versus what?
I mean, I'm all
I'm
right.
just joking with.
No.
I'm
I've never actually thought about it that much.
talking about it, it's just a joke. Because this is space.
It is nice
You know,
that
if
it's
you bought that old
inside
Saab
the school.
dealership, that would have been a
Oh,
nice
I
space to
love
go
that.
put a district, you know.
No, I like being in the building.
That-
It says, there's,
I know.
having the superintendent right here is,
I just like
it's a nice thing.
It is very different.
I know you wanted to throw that in there.
One
about the
day,
Saab
one day,
dealership.
yeah.
I know how you
It
are.
was such a deal.
I know.
We talked about hating
It was too much
the,
space.
the lobby.
It also wouldn't fit.
Yeah, so let's talk, yeah, so the lobby is not something I like at all.
Which the high school.
That's just, yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's really not inviting in any way, shape, or form,
No,
you know?
no.
And I know we're trying to look at changing out the
Dark.
entranceway a little bit more, but
Mhm.
definitely an upgrade, a facelift of that lobby and having a little bit, be a little bit more conducive to, hey, welcome to our building instead of,
And is there any way to maybe secure the pool and the gym are open for the public? Securing the building so they can't get throughout the building?
those doors lock.
Oh, the doors on the.
Those doors lock. I've never seen them lock, but they do lock.
Okay.
So that there you can secure them because those 2 doors that go to that, you know, walkway to the gym,
Get down.
those are locking doors. They look like they're locking. I've never seen them lock, but they're supposed to.
Mm.
So if you're not doing it, the problem is that I think no one ever does it. There might be a habit of doing it.
Yeah.
Those do lock.
So you don't need a capital project for that, just like behavior.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you're thinking inside the building? There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already overspent our budget,
Yeah.
just on the roof.
Several bullet points, so.
I'm just putting staff input in, because a lot of the
Definitely.
stuff goes into
Ask
like,
them
where
what's
would they
not
live?
working.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like, that's what I say, I'm always curious, like, what is maintenance keeping, like, or
Yes.
staff they keep running into, I'm sure, like you said, the bathroom or
Well,
the HVAC stuff.
maintenance.
Kitchen.
So let's talk a couple things about maintenance. There is, I mean, have you guys seen the maintenance area? It's in the
Which-
middle of the
Oh.
building.
Which,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That might be something that we could look at too.
That's
because
true.
There's no
It's also been
storage
the same way for like 30
for
something.
30 something years. The BCS states there's no storage out back for any of our equipment.
Yeah.
So we do have a storage issue. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
storage is definitely an
storage issue, maintenance area, functionality, I mean, that could be something.
Yeah,
And what about kitchen, the commons versus cafeteria?
Mhm. Oh, that's,
That
those are-
space, I don't know.
Do we have enough capacity? Lunches and all that?
we're topping out.
I bet with
We're
the
topping
sixth
out.
grade all at
Is there
once.
any place you could even go? I mean, I guess you have the glass window area out over, I mean, can you expand any of the seating outwards without
in the
being,
cafeteria.
yeah, the cafeteria, yeah, just to grow the physical space.
We ran into an issue this year for first lunch because our VOTEC students are leaving. So we're finding, VOTEC schedule can be really hard.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
we have, maybe we have like 12 high school students or 20 high school students that need lunch or coming back from lunch
Yeah.
during that time frame. We're right during that, and we're packed. So that first lunch is definitely
That's fifth period, fourth period,
fifth period.
fifth period.
So maintenance kitchen, common lunchroom, expansion cafeteria, those are good ones.
And it's not super flashy for sure, but our basement storage area, which is filled with, well, I haven't been down there in a long time, but I'm assuming it's still filled.
Well, we've gotten rid of a ton of stuff. That's been my goal, is to
Yeah.
get rid of a ton of
But
stuff.
could that space be better utilized,
Yes.
right? And are there things that we could do to make
Make
that
more
where,
space
like, we probably wouldn't do it off on its own, but if we're doing a bigger
Yeah.
project and can throw a little bit of money at something,
Yeah.
make it so that, I mean, we have storage problems.
Mhm.
we
I was
have
just saying, yeah,
whatever.
storage is an issue.
Right, like,
Before we go build something
when
for
you mentioned the
storage.
maintenance area, just,
Mm-hmm.
that, I don't know, there's a whole lot of people often think of that space.
Yeah.
But
All right. Move to outside.
We've quite a list.
I know, and this is just anecdotal listing, right?
Yeah.
This is just stuff that, hey, what about this? What about
And we're
that?
totally good on like windows and doors and ceilings and stuff, right?
Ceilings we're replacing as we've been going, so yes. And the lights will all be retrofitted, so.
And doors.
Yeah, no, doors need to be done. So that's part of the issue. Part of the BCS states, and that's why I wrote BCS, the BCS states that we want to switch out all the wired windows. There's a regulation on some of the doors that you have to change out the windowing.
Mhm.
So that's part of it. So doors.
So we
have
would
to
just
be
change
done.
out the windowing or the whole door?
You change out the whole door. Yeah, because then you want to change out the window, and the window isn't the door, and it becomes a safety issue.
So would that
And
be
some-
capital project-y or like 100,000?
Well, we tried to do $100,000 one, but the problem was that doors are on 6-month back order.
Yeah.
So you really can't do it. But the back doors of the pack, if you look at those actually, the stage doors,
Mhm.
they're really, really bad. There's like gaps in them, and we had to like
Mhm.
jimmy rig them and fix them so they don't open when somebody pulls on them. So that's been fixed, but those doors would need to be replaced. If you look at some of our doors itself on the back step, like they're a little lopsided. So doors are definitely an issue. So I'm glad you brought that up.
And floors are good, right?
Well,
Floors are good, except for the ones that are asbestos. I still,
Which floors are asbestos, or they might be asbestos, or is it, they are asbestos?
the
Yeah, but they are asbestos,
Yeah,
or they might be
they are
asbestos, or they.
So the ones that you go into and they're the little brown ones,
Mhm.
those are asbestos flooring. So the ones that are like in my bathroom that are in the high school, those are all asbestos. My bathroom has asbestos flooring. Doors.
Has the district ever looked into doors, classroom doors, inside, outside doors, where you need like a,
So we have that. So our outside doors are all fobbed,
but then,
Or
so,
classroom.
but not the classroom doors.
but not the classroom doors. So
So-
all staff have to use this to get in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but, so I, does your school currently have the,
Yes.
so there are,
We have
You wanna
them
explain that?
everywhere. So,
Oh,
yeah, no, because Kahari just did this too in their buildings.
they're very nice.
Mhm.
So yes, I need this to get into any door, any door. And then once I'm inside the school, I need this to get into my classroom. I need this
No
to get
keys in,
into,
right?
there are no keys.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The huge plus about that is in the event of an emergency, a lockdown, whatever it may be, I do not have to waste the time of going over, closing my door, locking it, putting down a shade. None of that
That's
happens
really cool.
because my
Okay.
door is locked at all times. So that
Oh.
also means that we have to have a bathroom pass. So every single classroom has one of
With like a
these.
fob thing and a
It's
built in,
exactly
yeah.
just like this. So to enter into the classroom, I just sort of have to wave it like this in front of the door, beeps, I go in. And you get so trained, sometimes you do this on the inside, freak yourself out, you don't need to. But it is, because like I said, we hear about a matter of, seconds that can make a difference. So to put the blind down, go over, lock the door. Those things are already in place.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's very safe.
it's really cool though. And when you look at the next 20 years or so
Mhm.
before we that's the kind
That's
of
a huge
fundamental like
It's
Yeah.
huge.
You can still use a key to get in.
No,
There's
No.
completely keyless.
I was just thinking, this happened at my daughter's college this year, they got cyber attacked and nobody could access.
Look at Albany, they had to shut down their internet.
They
for free.
couldn't get in the doors.
so sometimes the battery can die and maintenance will just come.
Is that?
No, I don't know how.
it's probably a battery in the
I don't know how
door.
the technology works. That's not my concern.
Yeah.
They
Um,
couldn't reissue fobs.
You know when they did it?
No, it should all work with the power outage and stuff. So unless the battery
It's
goes
been a
dead in
while.
the door itself,
I'm
it'll
gonna
show you
say
the thing. There'll
10
be a backup
years.
battery,
So
so you
hers
can
is-
still scan that
so-
and it will open.
But Rob,
Yeah, I
but
think it was more
they did
could-
theirs 10 years ago maybe, so that, I mean, that could also
It's been
change.
at least 7 or 8
Skahari
years.
just did this, because I
Yeah.
was talking to
Yeah.
their superintendent, and I was like, how did you do this? So cool. But
Yeah.
that is a great, I
Yeah.
think that would actually be really cool.
So one downside that a teacher would notice is that because these doors are supposed to be locked at all times for safety reasons, it's not advised that they're ever propped open for any reason.
Mhm.
Which might not sound like a big deal. If you have 30 middle schoolers in your room that just came from PE, it's a big deal. I mean, really, or, I mean, sometimes for
Yeah.
assorted issues, you may want your door to be open. It kind of,
Some
it's
teachers
frowned
teach their doors
upon
open.
to have it
They
open.
do, but
Yeah.
it's a safety debate that's been going on for years, right?
Mhm.
Because let's say there's an issue in your, if your doors are locked and they're closed, and there's an issue in the hallway and someone's trying to come in, or
Yeah.
a kid leaves the room and then they go into their classroom,
Mhm.
they can't get in, right? So it already stops that. So having your door shut and locked, great. Having your doors open then allows for the kids to come in and out. It allows for supervision to easily happen. It also allows for better ventilation. So like,
Yeah.
it's a debate
Yeah.
that's been going on for a long time in schools.
But it sounds like that's more a policy-oriented issue that the badges don't necessarily, like, you can still prop a door open.
I could.
Right. It's just that it's frowned upon in your current environment.
Someone might mention it.
Right.
Some schools may have it to the
Yeah.
point of where if a staff member were to open that door, it would be a write-up.
Mm.
It could be considered, a direct safety violation in insubordination. Like, it depends on the culture of the buildings as well, right?
Yeah.
So it really is dependent on those things.
But it's not a reason either to or to not do keyless entry.
No, it's
Right.
just, another thing, like when we're talking about safety or
Mhm.
things, could be, there's
Yeah.
just so many things that you could look at. It's just one thing.
Mhm.
Are like digital lockers a thing?
I don't know.
the idea of the doors. If you're all
Let's just carry one thing.
You want to go outside now? Because it's getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside, yeah.
So the shed, I have no idea what's going on with that, but we need storage for like our equipment, but also like the track stuff. Like it bugs me that it's outside. Like, so
Yeah.
just storage in general, like the shed area.
Weren't they talking about trying that up so the mice didn't?
They've done a lot of talking
Track-
about
The
things.
track mats,
There's been years of talking.
the brand new track mats.
Yes.
Are there holes in the roof? Is this that shed? Okay.
You hear lots of talking.
Um,
Hopefully it'll be done before that,
but a new store, like,
but we're talking for equipment.
Yeah.
We're talking
Yeah.
for
how
track
big do
stuff.
we want? Or is it like, those metal buildings are pretty cheap, right? Those aluminum buildings? Can't you like throw one of those out in the corner and have a,
I mean, as long as it's a found building, it might be through state idea. Because you remember, if it's a structure, you know, there's specific things that you have to, that will say you have to go through state ed for or not. You know, if it's a roof with outdoors and you just have a fence around it, that's okay. If it's a roof with doors, then you have to go through state ed and with walls. So there's,
what about a zipper?
what do you mean, like a,
Yeah, like I got a shed out in my, it's got a zipper, goes right up the,
yeah,
it's not
I
a
think,
door.
yeah, but then you're like, it's easy, someone can easily go in and vandalize it and stuff. So there's a lot, but shed, track equipment updates like that. I'll tell you something that bothers me that I don't know how we would fix it, but it is just concerning, is this traffic pattern makes me nuts. I watch it every day. I sit here and I look out and I mean, you have people coming in here, people coming in there.
It is the worst.
It is,
And you have brand new drivers over there.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
you know, I'm surprised that there hasn't been,
Me too.
you know, but I watched this, you know, we put up a new stop sign this year because of the busing.
Mm.
We put arrows in to make sure that people understand that it's one way, but I mean, if we can do a traffic pattern study in 5 years and figure out maybe something over here, it makes me very concerned. That, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard them talk about that in the past.
have
I
they?
thought that they, I don't know,
I have no
they
idea.
actually did a traffic pattern, or they had someone come and analyze, or at least they talked about it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely though, like coming out of that middle school drop off,
I was
like
just
in the morning, like
Yeah.
you said, there is a stop sign over there supposedly, but either it's so far away that it doesn't matter, or people just
Or-
blow through it
Yeah.
and like making a left, it's all impossible.
But think about dismissal. You
Yeah.
have parent pickup here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the bus is going here, and the kids leaving there. It's a
Oh,
lot.
there's-
It's one that for me,
Whoever
like,
is
I
out there
look at-
they're trying to wrangle buses going this way and
It's
then
a-
cars
Yeah,
coming
it
this
is a
way,
lot.
cars coming this way.
it's a lot. So good. I'm glad you all see because
Yes.
that one gets to me every time I look.
No, the few times I've dropped off in the morning, it's
Mhm.
intense.
Mhm.
For
Yeah,
sure.
you gotta, yeah.
So the BCS does say we need to fix our parking lot anyways, like seal and fix it, take care of the cracks, but that's part of the BCS.
Do you have the parking, is there too much parking, not enough parking?
I have no idea.
On a daily basis, I'm sure I forget you have events too, and then it gets kind of crowded.
But you know, even at events, it doesn't. I mean,
People
I
kind of
see
park
people,
on the grass and whatnot, but it seems
Yeah.
to work out.
it's not as bad as the elementary.
Yes, it doesn't seem that bad.
I think they're spread out. You're not doing middle school and high school typically together.
Yeah.
It's like middle school, so you
That's
got
true.
300, and then you got high school, which is 300. So elementary, it's if you're doing a whole school event, you know, 600.
We have enough parking for like students that probably, is it
I
lottery?
think
Is
so.
it-
I gotta be
I
honest with
think so, I see what these.
There's
Yeah.
a spots back there, and I don't think there's really concern with parking.
I didn't know if we had a lot of excess, I was thinking it might solve the traffic, you might be able
Yeah.
to do traffic different.
I honestly have no
Usability.
idea how you would reconfigure that.
don't
I
either,
just,
that's what I was
you
trying
know,
to
you
think.
would have to, how
Well,
much
is
it
there
would
any-
cost, but it just is definitely one that, or even if you put lights in, I really have no idea, just something. to fix
Is
that.
there anything too that we can do with that? We have that loop that nobody ever remembers exists back behind like a new park back there,
Yeah.
right? Like, is there,
What, move?
it's
That
not really a
kitchen?
loop.
Moving
but
around the district,
I'm talking about the driveway / parking back behind the school.
By the-
Kinda-
back by the
yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah, back by the kitchen, yeah. Like, is there?
And we can look at,
Is there?
More
we
traffic.
got
I
5
don't have any
years.
ideas there, I'm
No,
just asking
listen, we got
questions.
5 years, so I have no idea, so.
They do have ingress egress on Martin,
Mm-hmm.
add more traffic.
Yeah.
So parking, big back mark.
I don't know.
So the track,
Machine have cars. We could let an expert look at it.
would we want to put, this is just brainstorming, if we're doing any of that, would we want to put electric state charging stations?
Yes.
For teacher,
I don't know.
staff, that
Yeah,
kind.
I don't know.
not
Yeah.
this- When and if we do the school bus ones, are they not the same as what you would use for cars?
I have no
No, they're very,
They're
those are
different.
different capacity,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how Spanish speak.
I would assume.
I don't know, but I
I
just,
was
you know.
Different than-
I mean,
No,
again, we're
think it'd be
brainstorming,
great,
so-
those are at, I don't recall what schools I've been at, but I've plugged into them when I've gone other
They have in those
places.
schools?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't recall where.
It's different from the colleges,
Mhm.
and you get better parking.
Yeah, there's still money kicking around from, I don't know if it comes from National Grid or from the state.
There's gonna be money flying. when it
Yeah,
comes
there
to
is, but even like, that's how the village, I don't know if you noticed, put them in down there, and it was free to
Yeah.
charge. And then it wasn't anymore because their grant money ran out after like 2 years.
Oh.
I used to charge it all the time, and they put a sign out.
I haven't seen
You had to
anything
come
use
in
it.
and get a,
So electric cars, I did traffic pattern. I mean, really, we go to our athletic fields.
And what about the enclosed grass area that is like building locked? You can see it from the
Oh, yeah,
library.
yeah.
What's the situation?
Nothing. There's really not much you can do with that.
Yeah, why,
I think it's
Like, was
because
there a
fire,
plan
fire
originally?
code, right?
Like,
Is
why
it
did
fire
they
code?
build
So
it that way?
school districts, they always do this because I've worked in a district that had it before as well, where they
Yeah.
create these like, what are they?
Courtyard
Atrium or
type
courtyard
atrium,
things.
yeah.
Then are the people think, oh, they're beautiful, oh, they're really nice. I have no idea why they built those, but you can't use them. You go outside and they echo. You disrupt the classes, so it does become pretty difficult. I've seen people put gardens in them,
Right,
but I've never seen anyone build in them. I don't know why you couldn't.
does it cause any maintenance issues or?
No.
There's no grass that has to.
There's grass, they mow it a little. I mean, I don't know how.
How do they keep them open?
I have no idea how
Through the
they do
library?
it. I've never asked that question, to be honest with you.
They
But-
weed whack out.
Yeah, I actually have no idea how they do that. It's mowed.
But there's no issues there. okay.
No, not that I know of.
It's an outdoor.
I know.
I think it was one of those things, just like even building houses, certain styles
Yeah.
are popular right now and
You know.
Well, I think,
then
you look
later,
up there, you can see how it happened, right?
yeah.
Oh,
And they put an addition on that enclosed it,
yeah,
right?
that's exactly.
Because there's that other,
Yep, that's exactly how they did it.
Wait, look at their driving pattern.
there's a lot of cars.
Well, it's before they hit.
Yeah.
Well, they have the wraparound. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
That's before you added the middle school.
Yeah.
And before, yeah, that's before a couple things.
Yeah.
Before that one there, and then they put the 7th grade wing over on the back too, which is that one that,
The gym.
what's in there now? I think it used to be the 7th grade wing back in the,
No, what that is.
that's the,
I don't know what you're.
No, I know you don't know what I'm talking
Yeah.
that's that little short hallway with 4 classrooms and lockers that look smaller than the other lockers,
Is that
along the back,
like
like
the
if you're,
cafeteria?
Oh, we're on.
no, if you're in the back,
Like
like say you
10.
go pull in by the pool and there's picnic tables out there, it like butts up against those classrooms.
Yeah, that's
Where languages.
Yeah, it's
Is that where languages? Oh.
Yeah.
Tail
Oh, I
teachers
know
out
what you're
there.
about, yeah.
That's, I like the lighting back there. with
That
the
used to be middle
natural light.
Yep, it gets
Probably
really
get
dark.
dark. Oh, it gets
It
dark.
gets really dark at night though.
Does
So when it's
Oh, yeah, I
gloomy.
can see that.
So, okay. Track.
Yes.
So the track's gotta get done, right? We know that's gonna be an issue. The track is one of them. People, and I'm just gonna say, I've heard it 100 times. Then it comes into about the fields, right? What kind of field do you put in? Do you put in that field, another field? So I'm just gonna put field, question mark. And then, I'm gonna say the thing that everybody else always says, lights, and then air. Then I'm gonna write food sides. Because you're
Yeah.
looking at this.
But we'll spend
Yeah.
3 years on figuring that part out.
Yeah. But I mean, that would be a question, and then along with that, you're gonna ask.
When you say field, do you mean just the grass, or do you mean like the bleachers?
I didn't want to say the word, but turf.
Turf, I knew that's where- yeah, I knew that's
more
right.
like the
Like
announcing.
the athletic,
fields.
Well, that's
holistic.
where I was gonna go next, right? So you do track and you do field, now you have, and then you
That's
look
what
at
I'm
lights.
wondering, right.
Then you have to do an announcing booth, bleachers, concession
Those bleachers
stand.
are pretty good shape, right?
I would say so. But sometimes if you're making a bigger stadium and you say you do,
Yeah,
say you blow out that track and you make it a soccer, football,
Yeah.
lacrosse track, and you
Right.
multi-stadium, those bleachers probably won't be functioning the way that you need them to, especially if you're going to do 2 different sides, right? So that could change depending on the size of the field, what you choose to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that, again, I think it's important that we know it's coming. We know that you have to make the investment into the field,
Yeah.
into the track, because it's outdated. Not arbitrary. It's
That's
like,
the
oh,
time
I
to
want
do it
to,
if you're gonna do it.
right. It's
Yeah,
like,
we-
oh, I want to do it because we need a new one. No, or I want a new one. It's no, we need it.
If you invest in
A little easier.
one spot for, football, soccer,
Yeah.
lacrosse, I mean, you're going to simplify your maintenance, a lot of things down
Mm,
the line.
that depends on what you do with the rest of it, though, right?
Well, we still have to keep some of
Yeah.
the rest of it for, I don't think Modify is going to be playing on that big field,
Right.
right? So,
Right. So
we'll still have other
So,
fields,
practice.
Right.
but we already have that right now. So,
yeah, so you'll still have to keep.
So you won't save on maintenance.
So like let's say you're doing the football field, who chooses who gets to practice on it? Football,
Yeah.
soccer, right? Because those are the hard ones. That's why, like in Lansingburg, we had a football field and a soccer field,
mhm.
right? So you're still going to have that issue maintaining those fields. Right? Yes, they can play games on those fields,
Right.
but they're not going to be able to practice on it.
They might not
Yeah.
want to practice on turf.
Right.
A lot of people don't.
So I think
Turf
that's
hurts.
but that when the
When you
field
tackle
questions
in
come up
soccer.
and the track field comes up, it's going to be a very debatable, very high contested.
I will
what
be
do we do?
retired.
Yeah, I will be here. So, just saying, it's definitely going to be one that you want to start wrapping our heads around, at least thinking about. Or the satellite field is, what do you do there? Or do you just say we utilize our satellite field in a different way?
Mhm.
No,
And say put the track
There's more
there.
Space there too.
It is.
yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like doing something more over there.
I would
Like
love
that has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
There's so much space,
You
and
could
it could be
You could do a killer.
awesome.
You could do like a killer stadium over there.
Yeah.
That could be your athletic
Spreads out
that could be your athletic
spreads out your
complex,
parking.
Yeah.
Just when there's a big
Mhm.
game here,
Right.
and there's something else going on, then
Mhm.
all that will be over there.
But then you're getting, if you look at your satellite fields, and I would love it. Look, I tell you flat out, like, secretly, I would love to see a beautiful stadium over there. For a lot of reasons, you just update this track, keep it small, just keep it,
Mhm.
functional for school, and then just do a huge stadium over there. Then you have to look at facilities, bathrooms, and you have to look
Yeah.
at changing stadium.
Right.
It,
It's a
I
big
mean,
deal.
it's going to be a bigger project.
Yeah.
That's,
It is a nice space over there.
It is.
No, it is.
satellite fields. Okay. Anything else?
For outside,
Well, we're already at like 60 million.
I know.
Yeah, no, I know.
Then why stop now?
Where I stop, but I think it's important though. As
The only other things I've heard people have issues, well, Bill talks about the baseball field having problems. I don't know how. He says there's no drainage, right?
Yeah, they fixed it though by adding.
Oh, well, they
Is
went
there?
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'll say it, but because we're already locked in, and have money. But when we rip out, we're ripping out right by the. Is there any opportunity to put in drainage, or would they have to put in some kind of drainage with that retaining wall
You're thinking
that they're going to be putting in when we build the bus garage?
When he's talking about drainage, he's talking about the way that
No, I understand.
the field itself was built and
Yeah.
how it drains.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about like drainage of the hill in general. He's talking that field that was actually built, and what I've been told was that baseball field was not actually built like a baseball field. It was
Right.
a baseball field built on grass,
Mhm.
right? So but when they did the softball field, it was dug up. You had the layers of all the different things that were put on. I think that's what he's talking about when he talks about drainage. So
So it's not that it's swampy over there in general, it's just
no,
the
it's
field
the field itself
is-
of how it
It
drains
wasn't
off.
constructed. and-
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you were to like fix that, you would rip it out and put
Mhm.
an engineered grade baseball field. That's kind of what he means when he's talking about the drainage there. The grass isn't swampy. It's not
Mhm.
bad over there. It just
Yeah.
when it rains, it puddles.
And this isn't outside, but what about the pool area? I know we're getting, hopefully the
I don't know.
new,
That's a good one.
One
Definitely
thing
the
in
tiles. I'll tell you, there's some
but-
tiles that are definitely up in there
I gotta imagine there's stuff over there.
in the locker rooms.
locker rooms for sure.
And money.
I will say that so Emma did diving
Okay.
this year, and I'd never been in any other pool but ours. I think I
Yeah.
told you this, right? And like going
Was it
to,
eye-opening?
we have like the nicest pool in the area,
Oh,
like
okay.
amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
You know, you go over to Bethlehem or you go to, yeah.
I mean, the fact that we have one wall
I
really
know, yeah.
is,
Oh, we went to Skidmore for diving. Like our pool's nicer than the one up at Skidmore.
Oh my
So
goodness.
ours is terrific.
That's great.
It's a huge pool.
The only one
Yeah.
I've seen that's better is Shen's, but that's, I mean, they're,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's they have an
Not
entire giant like
comparable.
aquatics complex. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah,
It's complex.
They do.
they do.
No, I know,
Yeah.
it's
So
apples and oranges.
anything else that you can think of? I mean, we did talk about, sorry, lights, because we know people want lights. Talked about the
Well,
fields.
some people that,
I'm going to write the word.
that's get dangerous when you have a small lot group versus to assume that everyone wants this thing.
I've had people say to me, why don't you have, why didn't we put this in the project? And I also explain, the way that debt service works. But I also state, well, we would vote for it. I said, well, you would vote for it, but the 70-year-old woman who has, 70-year-old man who has a fixed income, if I'm asking them for a 0.5 increase, is really now the time to ask for that when we're asking for it for other things? Is that the reason we want it?
Yeah.
And I think as a district, we have to be mindful of our taxpayers saying, as a whole, right? There's people who want lights in the pack, but the people who want lights in the pack might not be the same people who want lights for a track, right? So very different mindsets. And
Yeah.
when we're asking for people to vote and put money in, that's going to be an issue. So thinking about money, thinking about tax levy,
Yes.
thinking about all this stuff, I think the last thing that I know we have to really wait.
Oh, jeez.
I think that's good though. I think we have to ask ourselves funding when
Yeah.
it comes down to this, and really it comes down to capital reserve, right? How much money do you want? And I don't think you have to answer it now, but it really is something that we have to start thinking about, because I think it's not been a true thought process here for a while. I think it's been, oh, well, we have leftover
Mhm.
money, or we have our fund balance, and we got to be down to 4%. Let's put X in here.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
Last time we did it correctly for this project, where we
Yes.
had a goal in mind for the capital reserve.
Yep.
We went and created that capital reserve with yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Yep, we did that.
Yeah.
And we all did it. And this project, we definitely have that. But if we're looking at our next one, and we're looking at a scope, right? And we're saying this is going to be the scope of it.
What do you think what would be the highest project we could do? I'm not saying we would.
I don't know.
Based on
I'd have to look at, Jim would have to get me that. And
I
know
think
what it
we
would
want to
be.
back into it. So
Yeah.
if we know we can only do a $10 million, then you're gonna, your answer for the reserves might be different than if you
I
think
think,
the community's gonna have an appetite for another 20 million.
I don't think they would.
I don't either.
Yeah. I also think you have to look at what you want to do. Because when
Some
you
of
do
the aid is
outside
different,
and
right.
do inside, the aid is different. We're not going to get aid for this
Mhm.
stuff in comparison to that.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's going to be, this is definitely going to be a long thought process, because there's been so much deferred maintenance over the years. Like you said, Rob, it's been like this way for 50 years. It's been this way for 50 years. You can't do it all at once. So you have to say what's going to be this 5 years, what's going to be the next 5 years.
But I do like to have this. I like the idea to have a plan and discussion about how much our goal should be for a building reserve, but I think it's hard to do when we don't really know the number or the range of the number.
How much we typically put in each year, right?
Yeah,
Sound system that's outside. What's the sound system like in the back? Is that
They have a new
25
sound
years
system.
old, or is it?
The sound
Oh,
system is good. I think we've updated it. We've done a lot of
Yeah.
work on it. Like we continually buy new amps when they're fading. We do all those things. I think it's the lights that are going.
Mhm.
There, the sound I think is doing pretty well. Didn't they just have those little tiny ones that they just put in a few years back?
Little
The thin
tiny
stripes.
for
Those
speakers.
thin stri- yeah, those are new, as far as I know, because we saved the old ones and we're actually putting them in the elementary school.
Huh.
You know, as we're putting in the new long throw cameras and everything, we're taking the old speakers that we've had stored, we're putting them down there. But the outside has no sound system.
Yeah.
You know, there's no speaker system for announcing anything.
what about, I was just thinking about just the security camera issues. Like, is that,
That's something that hopefully
Yeah.
we can build that up over the
Yeah,
next 5
hopefully
years. I don't want to
before-
wait on that,
I'm not
but
suggesting anything,
it's
but
it's
Yeah.
it's
definitely,
just another need I know we have.
oh, it's a huge,
Yeah,
and still infrastructure, technology infrastructure is still going to be making sure that we have that.
Mhm.
And we're doing that anyway, so we should be fine because we're doing it with E-rate funds. So we keep planning those projects. But you never know.
Sounds like a good list to me.
Yeah,
It's always fun when you can just do the wish part.
yeah, and then it's who makes the decision, how do you make the decision, what do you do? Like that's a long project. So
Mhm.
good. Anything else on that?
I can think of right now.
It's fun.
Are we good on our meeting then?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. I will.
All righty. Great.
Let's see. Yeah.